Folks, the NFL Combine is here. After last year it was canceled, it is back and in prime time. And if you guys want more NFL Combine coverage, I'm talking winners and losers and buzz on all the rumors and news coming out of Indy this year, hit that big red button and subscribe right now. '22 NFL Combine Preview is presented by the Fetch Rewards app. Download it for free at chatsports.com/fetch and use promo code CHAT, C-H-A-T, for 3,000 bonus points on the app. Lets you scan any receipt from any store or restaurant for points you can then redeem for gift cards. With the Combine here, a brief refresher before we get into the players to watch this week on what actually matters. In order, medical results is the number one thing. This is the first time teams actually get a look at all the medical results of a prospect. That matters for some because they are known injuries. Others might have stuff pop up. Interviews with teams, also a big factor. And although the testing and drills matters, it's not as impactful as their first two, but that's the stuff that we get to watch all with our own eyes. We'll be doing winners and losers after each day of drills. We'll do that early in the morning. So again, make sure you're subscribed as we run through 20 different prospects who have various parts of those three things mattering a lot. Let's go with QBs. To start, Matt Corral. Unlike the other big names, who of course are all at the Combine as well, over 320 prospects this year in Indy, Corral was not at the Senior Bowl. Of the Big Six who could go early, this is the first chance teams have to interview Matt Corral and get a feel for him. Oh, by the way, I am curious what the measurements check in at. He's not that big of a QB. So we mentioned interviews for Corral. Medical for Carson Strong is a very big deal here. That knee has already had major red flags for teams. Now they're getting an actual look at what the medical reports say. Strong's numbers were awesome this year at Nevada. He's not an elite athlete by any stretch of the imagination, but that medical, if it does not check out, he will slide down boards. If it does check out, he'll be back getting round one buzz. Then there's Kenny Pickett, who I think made a mistake by not showing up to the Senior Bowl and doing the hand size measurement. His hands are small. Now, he blames his double jointed thumb, which, okay, sure, whatever, but his hands are small. The verified measurement from his time at Pitt was 8¼ inches. He might be able to stretch that out. That there's a chance that does end up being the case. You can do various things to get that size a little bit bigger. Maybe he gets to 8.5. It's still going to be below the 9-inch mark. But as anyone will tell you, yeah, size matters, but knowing what to do with that size is certainly more important. So when it comes to QBs, who is your QB1 in this year's class? Could be one of those three names I just mentioned. This is the pinned comment on today's video. So if the ad break comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and drop a name for QB1 this year. I don't value the drills as much as I do other things, the medical, even the testing, but I am very curious to see what the drills look like for Kenneth Walker as a pass catcher. He was not used in that role really at all at Michigan State. Let me double check my notes here right now for Kenneth Walker, but he had a meager 13 catches. 6 his previous 2 years combined when he was back at Wake Forest. So if he can show soft hands and good route running and not dropping passes, that it was a usage thing, not an inability to do things at Michigan State, that'll help his RB1 argument. Let's go to the receivers now. George Pickens, first up here in medical, also a big factor after Pickens missed most of the 2021 campaign and didn't quite look right when he came back out there. He's far from the only injured receiver. Jameson Williams, who, man, I wish he would have run. He would have run so damn fast. He would have run maybe in the 4.3s. Instead, that ended up not being the case at all for Williams. But Pickens, the medical and the recovery there will be a big deal. So too will it be for Justyn Ross, who his roles changed over the years at Clemson, was a vertical threat to begin. Last year, more of a big slot, had the scary back injury, had a foot injury this year, and his numbers amid bad quarterback play were not that great. How fast does he run, and what does the medical look like? You can not run great and still have a great NFL career. That's not a barrier to success, but it will make everybody feel better if he can run in the 4.5 low range. So who are you most excited to see this year at the NFL Combine? I'm looking more at players who I want to see have questions answered. I'm not just picking the top athletes. That's what the winners and losers are going to be for, because we'll have some fun notes on the guys who run just stupid fast or have great production in the drills. So let me know, who are you most excited to see this year at the NFL Combine? One of my guys is Drake London. I am very high on the USC product, although it is worth mentioning that the success rate of players built around what Drake London is, 6'5", 210, tall, and a little bit skinny, are not great. But if he runs 4.5 or 4.4s, high, low, or low and high respectively, that's going to answer questions. I like London a lot. He's got a first-round grade for me for now, but I do factor in how things go at the NFL Combine. The tight end I want to watch amongst a pretty good class overall, Jalen Wydermyer out of Texas A&M. There's been a little bit of buzz and whispers amongst the draft community that Wydermyer might not run that well. And if he doesn't, that's going to lead to some stock drop. And we've seen tight ends in the past have pretty bad combine results and slide down boards fairly significantly. So we'll see if Wydermyer fits that mold or not. Of course, I hope he does not. I hope he runs incredibly well. Today's show is powered by the Fetch Rewards app. Download it for free at chatsports.com/fetch. And by the way, the app, as you're about to see, is incredibly easy to use. Once you've downloaded the app, use it to scan any receipt from any store or restaurant. Could be Target, as you can kind of see right there, Starbucks, Amazon, Walmart, fast food, your local mom and pop shop, your favorite grocery store, wherever, any receipt, it'll work with the Fetch Rewards app. And we're going to give you guys 3,000 bonus points to begin with the app when you use promo code CHAT at chatsports.com/fetch. I'll put the link and the promo code, by the way, in the comment section and in the description. So if you haven't already downloaded it, go download the free app today and earn rewards on everything. Just snap your receipts, get points, redeem them for gift cards later on. chatsports.com/fetch. Promo code is chat. All right, offensive line. And there's a pretty good track, by the way, of testing well at the Combine, leading to good NFL results amongst offensive linemen in particular, which is kind of true for all positions, because it turns out if you're a good athlete, you're going to be a good football player in most cases, or at least some cases. I am curious to see how Charles Cross measures in. I thought he had a great year pass protecting from Mississippi State. Questions about his overall size, 6'5", 310's a little bit skinny. I want to see him bulk up a little bit there. So, too, do I want to see Tyler Linderbaum weigh in, but he was 292 at Iowa. He'll probably be about the same at the Combine, which is what he is. And there are some strength concerns. I like Charles Cross a lot. I want to see him silence those doubters. Daniel Faalele is next up here, the Minnesota offensive tackle. Now, his listed size at Minnesota was 6'9", 380. Well, at the Senior Bowl, he was 6'8 1/4", 387. He is a mountain of a human being. Now, he's only played 5 years of football. I worry he's almost too big to hold up in terms of being that right tackle. He's so massive, it leads to leverage issues. I want to see how he measures. If he measures well, that'll help his stock, of course. And for guys like Faalele and others, I want to see how the weight control is going. That was an issue for Mekhi Becton. You can be too big in the NFL. Let's see what kind of shape Faalele is in and how he tests at the Combine. Ed Ingram out of LSU is next up here. I've seen some day two buzz. I think that's all pretty fair. On field, I think guys, top 75 players, somewhere in that range. There will be questions, and very difficult ones for Ingram to answer, from NFL teams and maybe even media about the sexual assault charges that were dropped against Ingram early in his career at LSU. Now, they were dropped, and I don't want to get in trouble with YouTube for talking about inappropriate things, but the charges are really messed up. Like, he should never be allowed in the NFL again if he did it. The charges were dropped. He went back to LSU. The buzz I've seen so far is that it doesn't seem like teams are concerned. We'll know more coming out of the Combine. I hope people ask him about it, because he's going to be asked about it by NFL teams. If he answers well and is able to explain what happened, well, I mean, either way, somebody kind of is a pretty bad person. Someone made up the charges. Otherwise, if he can explain away what happened, he could go early. If he doesn't, I don't think you want him anywhere near your football team, to be blunt. So who is the most overrated NFL draft prospect right now? Let me know in the comments section. Overrated prospect that you don't think is that good compared to other guys in this year's class. Jordan Davis, the defense lineman from Georgia, next up here. Big-time human being, 6'6", 340. And there is buzz. He could run sub 5 seconds in the 40-yard dash. That's some Vita Vea stuff. But Davis wasn't as productive in the pass rush as Vita Vea was. Still, someone's going to get an awesome, at minimum, 2-down football player. George Karlaftis is a concern for me coming into the combine. I do value testing. Now, you can test points over a career. I'm not saying you can't. But I am worried about how he's going to test. I did not see great speed on tape. He's got great power, but I am worried this could be an A.J. Epinesa type of combine. Round 1 buzz, doesn't test well, falls to round 2. We'll wait and see. Kayvon Thibodeaux has been hyped as a potential number 1 prospect, but also is getting dinged by others for being too small. Now, he's listed at the 6'5", 258. I am expecting to come in more along the rounds of 6'4". Not quite that tall. His arm length is really good, though. He's got 34-inch arms. He'll check in fine from that capacity. Teams will also grill him about the brand and the cockiness and the picking Oregon over Alabama, which, by the way, is the same thing that Justin Herbert got dinged for. Everyone looks stupid for that, for caring about academics. Sometimes NFL teams are dumb and weird. I think Thibodeau's a top 5 player easy in this year's class. But teams care a lot about the person. So as long as Thibodeaux can answer those questions about how committed he is, which I'm not concerned about, teams are, he'll be just fine. So the interviews will matter a lot for Thibodeaux this week. With that in mind, who will draft him in the 2022 NFL Draft? I believe if he gets out of the top 3, teams are making mistakes. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. All right, Wisconsin linebacker here, Leo Chenal. 6'2", 261 is the weight I was told. Listed at 255. I'm curious what he checks in at. Does he come in a bit lighter to run faster? Does he embrace being the Donta Hightower, Preston Brown type of mold? Great production for Wisconsin. I'm curious how he fares in the drills for how fast he runs and how he holds up in coverage. He wasn't great in coverage. 1 career pass breakup, 1 interception. 20 years ago, guy's a first-round pick, no doubt, because he's just going to fill the run game all year long. Right now, I think more people should talk about him. I think he might test pretty well. So I got a second-round grade on him. I can't wait to see what he does this week. You might be more familiar with the name Brandon Smith because, like all Penn State athletes, the dude's going to blow up the combine. He's going to run stupid fast and get hyped as a maybe top 60 pick. I didn't love the film. I think he's a great athlete. Instincts need a lot of work, but you always bet on the athlete. So of the guys to watch who test well, I think Brandon Smith undoubtedly is one of them. Now, throughout this week at the Combine, I'll be posting videos on my Twitter since we can't put them here on YouTube. I'm talking 40-yard dash times and a whole lot more. So go follow me on Twitter at WhatGoingDowney and stay tuned to see which fan base I accidentally piss off when I say player ran slow because they ran slow and the fan base gets mad at me for speaking facts. Let's go to the cornerback group now. Derek Stingley. I love him. I saw what he did in 2019, and that was top 5 pick lock. Hasn't played much the past 2 years, has battled injuries, and teams want to know, okay, were you hurt, were you injured, or were you hurt and just didn't want to play because your team was bad? You have to answer those questions. I've heard that Ahmad Gardner, for example, is much more of an alpha male leader. Curious how that Derek Stingley will measure up in that area. He might not be that so much, which is fine, but teams love those alpha dogs, especially at corner. So pick one for me, Ahmad Gardner or Derek Stingley. I'm curious, by the way, how Sauce runs in the 40-yard dash. Some concerns from some about his speed. Run at least a 4.5, and he'll be just fine. Pick a corner for me, AG or DS. Derion Kendrick, next up here out of Georgia. Twofold here. Number one, answer the off-the-field questions that came from your time at Clemson, where he was left/forced to leave, was in the doghouse, ends up at Georgia, and answer questions about your top-end speed. How fast is he going to run? I don't know if he breaks 4.5. That'll be a red flag for teams. You can always find the the outliers, but teams that tend to use, thresholds, it's pretty common in the NFL. All right, time for a guy I think is going to test incredible. Tariq Woolen. Long frame, long arms, big build, and I think he's going to fly at the Combine this year. I am excited to see Woolen. Not a household name. I would fully expect him to be getting top 30 or top 60 buzz once the Combine is all said and done. He's a fantastic athlete. I think he'll test like one as well. And I couldn't go without mentioning the best name in this year's draft class, Smoke Monday, who might not have the smoke in terms of the wheels. That's a bit of a red flag for some. Testing will matter for him. But regardless, somebody should draft him because there's no way a dude named Smoke Monday isn't going to be at minimum an awesome special teams player in the NFL.